Hello and welcome to Danziger online tutorials. In this tutorial we're going to discuss the creation of a new order in the new online ordering system. From the previous tutorial we discussed the installation of the application, and then it opened up to the dialog box. If the dialog box does not appear, let's say you came a day earlier or later, all you do is you click on your Start, All Programs, go to the folder Danziger Done Flower Farm, and then the application should open up. The dialog box and the credentials that you add in here is your customer number that you receive from Danziger, just as you did with the previous ordering system. In this case we're going to be using a fictitious client called English Flowers, and the relevant password. Again, we wait a few seconds for it to load up, and now we can begin to place a new order. First thing, make sure that your name appears as the customer. Second of all, add the person who's actually making this order. In this case it will be myself. Again, you click on add here, and you can add another person if you would like. And out of that, the relevant email, that's my email by the way, and the product I would like to order. In this case it will be unrooted cuttings. You can also order rooted cuttings. The order type, whether it's commercial varieties that you would like to order or trial varieties. In this case we're going to stick with commercial varieties. Okay, so let's begin, and we click on new order. Now it will take quite a bit of time for the information to be cached onto your computer. After that, the subsequent times that you enter into this application, it should be much faster. We start off at the top, making sure that my order type is commercial. As I mentioned before, the product is the unrooted cuttings, and the destination I would like to send the order or the shipment. In this case we'll stick with London since it's English Flowers. Secondly, I would like to add a secondary customer if applicable. This is obviously optional, and I can choose which secondary customer I would like. You may produce a new secondary customer, update an existing secondary customer, and so forth. In this case let's take test 333. We select it as a secondary customer. Next, the weeks I would like to order. I will start with week 40 and make a range from week 40 till week, let's say 45. Okay, and now I will explain to you how the screens that you see here are working. In this main screen that you see here, or the main pane, these are all the varieties that Danziger has to offer for us. Once you click on a specific variety, then over here on the availability and the order, you can actually see what is the availability per week, per site or per source that holds these cuttings. In this case, let's say we'll go for Angelonia, Alonia bicolor purple. You can see for each week how much Kenya has and how much Israel has, and you can of course order straight away. Also a nice thing that we have here, if we click, let's say, one of the varieties, you can also see a larger picture. If you double click on the thumbnail, you can actually see a larger image of that variety. Okay, so let's just make a fictitious order. I will begin with Harmony. Another thing is that you can obviously, just like in Excel, you can sort the columns in alphabetical order. Let's say I would like the varieties to become alphabetical order. I just click on them. This one will be ascending order, so I can go directly to the variety that I would like. The same with the series name, the crop names, and the codes. The codes are actually our codes. You may also group them. You may group, let's say you want specific series with the variety names per series, if you like. Or if not the variety name, click on the variety name. So here you can see the series names will be, let's say, Bacopa, and I can see in this case this would be mixes, but if I go to another one, let's say Bacoposcopia, I can see the different varieties that are there, as well as if I've ordered or not. Let's just go back. Again, you just drag them back to their original location. You can interchange between columns, so it can make it very customizable. And a very nice feature that we have is called the search bar, where you can actually type a specific variety instead of sifting through all these varieties trying to find out what you would like. Let's give an example. Let's say boogie, which is harmony. I just type in the word and it will automatically search that name. So let's order that. I've got for every single week from Kenya and from Israel. Let's say I'll take 500 for each week. I can even skip a week. If you skip a week, then it obviously will not take that week into consideration. Okay. And over here in the quantity, it will give you a sum total of how much of that specific variety you have ordered. So you can always take a look at that. If I go now and clear the search bar, just click on clear, it will bring me back to all the varieties. And the top part, if I click on quantity and go right to the top, will appear, and that's what I've been ordered so far, 2,000 cuttings. Like I said, if you double click on the thumbnail, you can see a larger picture. If I click on details, I have the option of substituted varieties. In other words, if this variety, Harmony Boogie, does not exist, or there is no potential or no more availability, then I have other varieties that are very, very similar that I can choose instead. Okay, and I can just mention their name, Harmony Orange for instance, and decide, okay, instead of the Boogie, I can actually take Harmony Orange or Orange Blaze and so forth. Once I've made my order, let's choose another crop. Let's say I want to take Angelique Agaranthemum, and I will go for, let's say, 200. I'll go here for 200. Purposefully, I would like to add a multiple crop order, and Petunia, of course. Let's say the purple ray, for instance. 100 there. Okay, now we're going into this pane over here. Again, if I click on quantity, by the way, then it should give me, and I clear this obviously, I can see how many I have ordered in total per variety. In this case it's 2,000 for the Harmony, 400 for the Petunia Ray, 600 for the Angelique White Chick. And now this is something internal for you. If you have your own customer order number, you can place that in. I can just call it a Tom Order 1 or a purchasing order number, for instance, and so on. Now once that is complete and once you're happy with that, you have three options. One, you can preview the order. If we click on preview right now, it will open up in a PDF format in Acrobat Reader, for instance, and you can actually see a summary of the order that you've ordered. Here written in red that the order has not been submitted yet. Please bear that in mind. Don't think that once you see this page that your order is already in our system. It's not. What is actually quite revolutionary from the old previous internet online ordering system was that you had a summary per crop. Here you have a summary per order. In other words, on the same order number you have multiple crops, which is very important, and which is actually quite new and was high in demand from the previous online ordering system. So here we can see that I've ordered agaranthemum. The varieties, in this case it's only one variety. It gives me a total per crop. What is the total that I've ordered for that crop? If I had more than two varieties or more than one variety of the same crop, it will give me that sum total per crop. So it's also very easy to see that in total I've ordered this amount for agaranthemum, this amount for petunia, and this amount for New Guinea. I click on close. You can obviously save that for later use or for your own records. Next, I may submit the order. The minute I click on that, the order has been submitted. Do you want to submit the order? Say yes. Once I've submitted that, automatically a summary of the order has been drawn up, just as you saw in the preview of the order. In this, and the only difference is now is that in green it's written the order is confirmed, and that you can actually save, and you know that your order has been placed on our servers. Now we're going to go back. We're going to make another order. Since this one has been submitted, and let's take Angelonia again, making sure if we have any secondary customer, let's make a new secondary customer. Select that one. Again, I'll choose the weeks 40, and this time I'll go maybe to week 43. Again, the destination I'll leave as is, and I'll choose something else now for the next part of our series. Let's say I want to order Bacopa, and let's say I choose 100. Let's choose another variety. Third variety, just for interest's sake. I'll speed up the process. One thing you will realize is that the minute I've placed a quantity, it automatically highlights in red, telling you where that source will come from. In other words, I've ordered now 100 cuttings from that specific crop that will come from Kenya. If Israel was highlighted in red, then you know it would have been from Israel. And if I wanted more, let's say I ordered 700, again that 700 is coming from Kenya. Okay, so we know that nothing at the moment has been ordered from Israel, since I can see it all highlighted in red. Okay, now in this case, instead of submitting the order, what I want to do is actually save it as a draft. Now saving it as a draft means that it's more on your system than it is on our system, and you have to be aware that if you go on later on and would like to submit it, that the availabilities might not be there, and it will automatically detect if there are availabilities. Okay, and we're going to discuss that in the management of existing orders. The third thing, to make a new order of mixes. If you would like to make a new order of mixes, before we do that, I'm going to discuss personal mixes, or what is known as freestyle mixes. These are mixes which you create on your own, whether it will be a single crop mixes or a multiple crop mixes. So let's take a look at personal mixes. Over here I've already created two fictitious mixes. The first one I called it Tom mixes, and it was made up of agaranthemum, beans, and calitunia. Okay, it's called a freestyle mix. And Tom mixes Bacopa is a single crop mixes made up of two varieties of the same crop. If you would like to add another one, you just click here on the plus, give it a name, a multi-crop, we'll call it multi-crop, multi-crop 1, and then here I click to choose the crop I would like and its variety. So let's go here, click on, let's say, Agaranthemum, White Swan, and I can click another variety, let's say another crop. I'd like to go with Angelonia, for instance. Might actually a little bit funny looking mixes, but it's just for demonstration purposes. Calitunia again. And this is how I created my mixes. Again, you can have more than 3 crops if you would like. By clicking on the trash can, you can actually confirm a deletion of a crop and its variety in this case, and add another one. Pretty simple. Coreopsis for this case. Okay, and I click on exit, or I can create another mixes called single crop mixes. Click on the plus, and I'll choose a single crop. Let's call it Bidens for this case, and so forth. I'll just speed up the process. Okay, and here's an example of a single crop, in this case Bidens. I click on exit. Now that I have created my own personal freestyle mixes, I can now go on and order them. I click on new order, and to order mixes I type in the search bar mixes, and it will automatically give me all the mixes that Danziger has. Now what I would like to discuss is that under the series name, if there is a series name that is blank, as in this case, then you know it is a multi-crop mixes. In other words, freestyle, for instance, if you click on that, is made up of 3 or 2 or more different crops. In this case it's Bacopa, Calibrojo and Petunia. Okay, here is Tom's mixes. That's the previous mixes I made, and this is the mixes we did together now, multi-crop mixes. If we click on the details, you may see the mixes that I've created, one with Agaranthemum and Calitunia together. If I go back and decide to go for the single crop mixes, as we see here, then the system will automatically detect what crop name was it, and it will place it under the series name. In this case, mixes Bidens. I click on details, and I can see the 3 Bidens varieties that I have created for this specific mixes. And again, you may preview the order, submit the order, or save as draft. I'm just going to click again, week 40. It's exactly the same procedure that you would do with a normal order. Let's go week 42 for instance. Select. Okay, and let's order 200 of those. That's my single crop, and I'll go for my multi-crop that I've just ordered. It will be 200, 200, 200. Okay, and I'll save as draft. Okay, just as in the previous order. Excellent. That is basically it for the creation of a new order. In the next part of the tutorial, we are going to discuss existing orders, including the orders that we did right now, and I'll show you how you can actually manage those orders. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Goodbye.